You've mastered the Q, you've mastered the Veil, you've mastered nearly all of the Raidents. So now it's time for the final step, the ultimate in Raident kind, Tier 4 Raidents. These Raidents not only have extremely powerful and varied abilities, but some of them even come with new ways to slam dunk a spawn point in your enemy's home. So let's dive right into it. The Copybara, unsurprisingly, copies of the abilities of another Raident. Which Raident though? Specifically, the Raident in the 4th space of your queue. Basically, whatever is in that space, the Copybara can use its symbiotic simulation to, for all intents and purposes, become that Raident. If there's not a Raident in that position, then the Copybara just doesn't have any extra abilities. So maybe don't put the Copybara on the field until the position in that queue is filled. One quick edge case before we move on. This does mean that the Copybara may turn into a Squirrella and then move on to an obstacle. That's great, that's how that's supposed to work. However, if the Copybara turns into not a Squirrella, it'll need to move off the obstacle before it can take any other actions, as the Squirrella is the only Raident that can use its unique abilities on top of an obstacle. The Moustermind is a master of mousy manipulation. Its main ability, Puppeteer, is able to move an adjacent Raident or spawn point of either team to an adjacent square. If you Puppeteer a friendly Raident, they're going to be a bit dizzy this turn and won't be able to take any actions until your next turn. Because the Moustermind can move a spawn point, you're more than capable of placing your 4th spawn point not in your opponent's home tile, as the Moustermind can move it the last few spaces that it needs to win you the game. This also means that the Moustermind can functionally put enemies in timeout by moving them onto obstacles, provided they're not the Squirrella or the Capybara cosplaying as the Squirrella. While it's loads of fun to shove Raidents around, there are some limitations. You can never place or move a spawn point on top of an obstacle, and you can never move a Raident in a space with a mound. However, you can move a spawn point into a mound, which doesn't sound super useful until you remember that you can also move your opponent's spawn points around. The Moustermind's burrow ability is Scamper. While it can burrow, it can travel directly onto any spaces within 2 adjacent squares, including diagonals, without interacting with anything along the way. Just like its Puppeteer action, this can let it get onto obstacles, but not onto a square occupied by a mound or other Raident. Remember, mounds are basically just Raidents who ate too much and can't move, which, relatable. And finally, we have Chinzhilla. Chinzhilla, true to its name, is able to affect a huge area. To figure out all the spaces the Chinzhilla affects, look up, down, left, and right from the Chinzhilla and find the closest obstacle in each direction. Then pick one of those directions and target all the spaces around and including that obstacle. Keep in mind that there has to be an obstacle in order to target that direction. Now that you got the range down, the abilities are fairly straightforward. Its main ability, Baby Don't Herd Me, will remove all the Raidents in that range, including the Chinzhilla. Its burrow ability, Kaijujitsu, takes all of those spaces it can affect and levels them flat, turning them all into grass. No burrows, no obstacles, just grass. It also means no home terrain, which means no spawning. And it's gonna stay grass until the start of your next turn. Nature takes a while to heal. While things are grass, it's going to affect how some things work. Obviously, burrow abilities aren't going to work. Home terrain, including home tiles if they're affected, become grass. Spawn points, however, still can't be placed on obstacles. You can check out the full list of interactions on screen and on the last page of the rulebook. And with that, you now know how to play every Raident with each of their unique abilities. Don't hesitate to use the references on the back of the field tiles if you need a refresher of how different Raidents work. Once you and your opponent feel comfortable going head-to-head, you can spice things up by introducing a chess clock. We recommend 5 minutes each with 60-second delay. It should keep things moving without being too punishing when you pull off something crazy and you need to rethink everything. Again. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope you enjoy Raidents.